You're listening to the world-famous White Roof Radio, Woofcast number 605, recorded September 13th, 2016, brought to you by CravenSpeed.com, MotoringStripes.com, and OutMotoring.com. Mini performance, speed, and style. It's OutMotoring.com. Hey everybody, it's Stevie in Arizona bringing you a brand new episode of the world-famous White Roof Radio. That's right, I said world-famous. That's right. And you guys around the world, not in the United States, you know who I'm talking to. That's you guys. Thanks for listening. Appreciate it. Doing a new show, talking about minis for you on a whatever night it is, like we like to do. My good friend Todd Pearson has joined us as always from MotoringStripes.com. Todd?
I am here, and welcome to all of the thousands of new listeners we've had over the last month. Thank you.
Yes, very cool, very cool. And you know who's back? This is pretty exciting. Alex is back.
I am back in San Francisco. I am back on the podcast waves. Hi, everybody.
On the West Coast. Although, briefly, you're going back to Boston for a week, right?
Yes, I am going back to Boston on Sunday for a week, and then New York, and then back to San Francisco, and then maybe Todd, I am in Kansas City in the second week of October.
Awesome. Let's go to NASCAR, baby.
All right, let's do it. I need to get my citizenship now. I got the green card, so now I need citizenship.
There you go.
Yeah, you can't get a citizenship unless you actually attend a NASCAR race.
I think you have to
I need to attend like a certain number of races to get citizenship.
Well, and I think you have to be shirtless at a NASCAR race, really. You have to be photographed shirtless at a NASCAR race.
And I need a pickup truck also.
That's instant citizenship right there.
Don't you also need the hat that has the two beer cans and the
yes,
to it and down into one?
Yeah, the stadium buddy.
The beer bong hat.
I totally need that. Yes.
Okay. That, or you need one of those crochet caps that are made with crochet
beer cans. Yep. But if Alex,
for anyone listening to the podcast looking to get citizenship, this is a top tip from White Roof Radio.
It is. Although Alex would have the beer can cap like that with the two straws, but he'd be drinking rosé out of it.
It's like hang on, I gotta send you guys a link to this one. Open a new tab. Here, I gotta show you guys. Alex, you're gonna have to rock a hat like this, dude. the crocheted beer can hat.
Oh, good gosh.
Remember these.
That's a piece of 1975 right there.
Exactly. A lot of you children might not be old enough to remember this. I will link this up in the show notes. If you're wondering what the F I'm on about, though, there it goes right there.
This is great. Plus the blue suits me really well, so it's perfect.
That's it.
Dude, that used to be a thing. When I was like, so Todd, you remember those?
Oh,
used to be able to buy them in stores.
Yep.
Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah.
Back then. Anyway, like I said, we're here talking about mini stuff for you, like we like to do. And I want to thank all you guys for sending in all the images of your cars. That's super awesome. This week's show image brought to you by our friend Gary Mini Art. I believe Gary's in Florida. Is he not?
I do not know where Gary is.
I don't remember where Gary is.
I think Gary's in Nebraska. Come on.
Oh, he is in Nebraska, maybe.
I'm just saying that. I have no clue.
No, he's in Iowa.
Iowa. I was close. I was closer with Nebraska.
Oh, I thought he was in Florida. Anyway, he sent in his image of his very, very good-looking Mini Cooper Roadster S, and that is this week's show image that you're seeing on your screen. Gary, thanks for sending that in. Of course, if you want your Mini to be featured in an upcoming episode of White Roof Radio, all you have to do, upload an image to our Facebook page, or you can tag us, do an @reply to us at Twitter or Instagram. We'll get those too, and I'll pick one up. We'll go, oh, cool.
And Gary, if you're listening, I want to know how you mounted that license plate on the front of your Roadster.
Oh, way down there at the bottom.
You see that? Okay, if you're listening to the show, stop the show, pause the show.
Oh, you can see it on your podcast app.
There you go. Look on your podcast app and look at his front license plate on the Roadster.
Yeah.
And one, I want to know how you mounted it, and two, I want to know how it's still there because you're like probably punching it into curbs and driveways and all kinds of stuff.
Okay, so
birds.
This will kind of give you an idea. I'm on Gary's Facebook page right now because we're friends. No, we're not friends on Facebook, but I've got him on Facebook right now. He is a systems engineer, and a scientist is also part of his title. And at one point, he worked for NASA.
Awesome.
So
cool. That's pretty cool.
How to do that. So anyway, Gary, thanks for sending that in. Congratulations on being this week's featured image. That's a Cooper Roadster too.
Yeah, with a JCW Aero kit.
Yeah, that's so badass. Ah, it's a good-looking car. That's why I picked it. And I even like the wheels, and I don't normally like that style of wheels, but man, it's
and can I say also that after owning and driving the Roadster now for about 5 months?
Yeah,
that is it's probably the best or second best Mini Mini has ever made.
Yeah,
the car is simply phenomenal, and
easy car.
Yeah, it's an amazing car, and I'm probably saying that because we've had nothing but convertible weather for the last 4 months. We've rarely had a day over 90, and I've learned this also in people who drive convertibles will probably agree with me on this. Is we've learned the key to the convertible top, and the key is you have a 90-degree limit. If the outside temperature is 90 or above, the top goes up and the air conditioning goes on. It's just oppressive at that point. But if it's below 90, if it's 89 degrees or below that, it's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. So
interesting.
Yeah, this is it's a great car. I love the Roadster, and I swear to you, not since my 2003. Remember way back when, DB, that everybody would ask you, what is that? Where did you get that car? Tell me about it. And they'd stop you. Everywhere we go in the Roadster, people stop us. And because there's no top, it doesn't matter where you are. You're driving through a parking lot, and people will walk up to you and strike up a conversation as you're parking. Because, you're right there and it's open. Everywhere we go, people ask us, what is that? Where can I get one? And I'm like, sorry.
And I can't find it now, but I saw one for sale tonight on Facebook.
Yeah.
It's in Florida.
For about 22 grand.
It was 24.5, but it had 1,900 miles on it.
Oh, wow, yeah.
I'm sure there must be dealers with leftovers somewhere, no? Don't you guys think?
Yeah, I think there may probably be one or two still in stock somewhere.
One or two. And, if you're in the market for a small drop-top car and you're looking at the MX-5, really take a look at a Cooper S Roadster if you can find one.
Yeah, and they're on used lots. I mean, I know in Kansas City we've got one on the used lot right now. Yeah. It's a 2013, and it's fully loaded. It's got nav, everything on the car. It's a little spendy. It's in the mid-20s. Yeah. But it's fairly low miles, and it's blue, and right here in Kansas City. So check out baronmini.com for that.
I know I mentioned this and showed you 603 or 604 about the MX-5, which was a brilliant car. Absolutely brilliant. It was just tiny.
Yeah.
Absolutely just a little bitty car, and you have to be like 5'7" to drive it. And you can't plan on going anywhere longer than a weekend with two people versus a Mini Cooper Roadster, which you could go for 2 weeks across the United States or make a Costco run.
Yeah. Yeah, that is a limitation to the Roadster, the Mini Roadster, is we have been busted a couple of times going somewhere. Like we went to Lowe's, and I was going to buy a small air compressor because I'm doing some home improvement stuff, and I'm like, I'm going to buy this small air compressor because that way I can run a nail gun, yada, yada, yada. So I put it in the cart, and then I'm walking out to check out, and I realize this isn't going to fit in the car. I said that the air compressor is going to ride shotgun, and I'm going to have to come back and get you. And we're like, screw it. So we just abandoned the cart, went home, got my car, and came back.
Had to go get the pickup truck.
Because, the box was just slightly too big. There was nowhere to put it. The trunk, while it's roomy, does not fit large boxes or anything,
It's good for, suitcases and luggage. And, like I said, your Costco or grocery shop, that kind of stuff. It works perfect.
Yeah.
But, I mean, don't think you can use it as a replacement of a hatchback. Good grief. Holy Toledo.
And you know us, we go to the liquor store, and then that's it. We can't go anywhere else because the boot is full. So that's just the way we roll.
Right. How the household goes. Anyway, that's enough about that. Let's get started. Before we do, let's remind you guys about one of the fine sponsors here underneath the white roof. Our friends over at Outmotoring. You guys know Outmotoring.com, the Amazon.com of Mini Cooper stuff, the home for Mini Cooper DIY mechanics, the home of all things, I'm going to say it wrong, grits. I'm just going to keep saying grits, and I don't care if you guys think I say it wrong or not. For getting your car shiny and clean, summer's over. Time to get it polished up, get it ready for winter, get a nice fresh coat of wax on it, and Outmotoring.com's got you covered. You want a 3-inch polisher? Made the Grits 3-inch polisher, very limited quantities, but got it on sale. $89.95. Super awesome. It's a nice little unit. And this is cool, a little detailer's bag that holds all of your stuff, all of your detailing stuff, so you can just pick it up and carry it around the car, so you don't have to like have bottles and things like strewn all about the driveway. Or if you're going like do a friend's car or you're having like a detail party, nice little detailer bag there. Done and done. Go over there, check it out. Not only that, but you want JCW side skirts for your car, for the F56, just the side piece. Aaron's got them. Outmotoring.com. He's got them for, my God, those are expensive. But boy, they're nice. And at least, you know what? When the expensive stuff like that, what's really cool at Outmotoring, free shipping if you buy something that costs over $195. That's on most any order. And don't forget, too, is if you sign up for the email newsletter, you get a 5% discount code. And that's a new one every month. That's not just like once, you get to use it once and that's it. You get to use it the entire month. You want to go shopping at Outmotoring.com like 3 times this month, you use your coupon code and you save 5% every time. It's like having your little club card.
It's like
right?
being Amazon Prime, man.
It's like being an Amazon Prime, and if you spend more than $195, he ships it for you for free. Not only that, but he's still adding 3,000 new products each and every month, and not just like really cool Go Fast bits or more glove box organizers, but like all the weird, crazy SKUs that you guys find over at real-oem.com, the replacement parts, the clips, and, the body panels and light bulbs and just anything that's needed for your car because you've got a haze manual and you need to do a repair. Outmotoring.com has you covered. Think of them as your own Mini Cooper parts desk. He's got everything. Boom, done and done. Go over outmotoring.com. Not only that, you guys like him because, Aaron's been keeping us going since we started. Not only that, he's also been one of the OG sponsors at motoringfile.com, like since forever. It's super awesome. Aaron loves us. We love him. Go over, check him out. That's over at outmotoring.com. Mini performance, speed, and, JCW side skirt set. That's outmotoring.com. That side skirt's really nice, but boy, $620. You gotta want it, but man, it looks so nice.
Yes.
I mean, you would know, Todd. You've got it on your car.
Yes, it's very nice.
It's very nice. Sir, how about some of that fine news music?
Boom, there it is.
We have several stories, but they all kind of merge into one.
We do, and can I want to give a teaser because I hope to be able to gather this information. I was privy to a piece of information that we've talked about since we've been on the air. Okay, and that piece of information is what are the best and worst selling colors in Mini, right? This is like the human interest story, if you will. And I got to see that list recently, and I think it's fascinating. And I will tell you this. I guess I can break it now. I will tell you the polar ends. What are your guys' thoughts on the best-selling Mini color? And this is recently. I want to say this is probably within the last year. Best-selling Mini color and the worst 2 selling Mini colors.
Okay, so now I have a bit of insight in this because we kept track of this one for SCMM, the Mini Cooper Club in Southern California, right?
Yeah.
And but this is back in 2003, 2004.
When dark silver was still in option.
And the colors were in order. It was chili red, dark silver, and British racing green.
Okay, those are your top 3.
Those are the top 3.
All right, and of those that are still available now, which one do you think is your top color?
I would have to say whatever the new silver is got to be the top. So that's got to be the best. Well, yeah, I'm gonna have to go pepper white. I'm gonna go pepper white.
All right, Alex, your thoughts?
So we're talking about the just so I know where to kind of place myself, like the
56.
We're talking about the F56, right?
Well, I think we're talking about everything that's available now, as of now. And it's weird. It's a little skewed because some colors aren't available on some models. Like the burgundy's only available. So I'm just saying in general, colors that run across the range, the best. What's your best and maybe your worst? DB, also, you get ready. What do you think of the least 2 most?
My best luxury blue and deep blue.
Okay. Alex, your thoughts?
I think the least popular is the stuff that costs like $1,000. So I don't know which one.
Lapis luxury blue is one of the expensive colors.
Yeah. So because logic, right?
And the other $1,000 color is the color on your car, which is
the
Rebel green.
The JCW green, the Rebel green, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that would be it. And then like the most popular, I would say Thunder Gray.
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe like a crazy bet on the Volcanic Orange.
Okay.
Just because I see them like everywhere.
Okay, I will say this right now. DB, you win. Pepper white is the most popular across the board color.
Yep.
Alex, you are so far off, it's not even funny. Pepper white is the most popular color, and I want to say the least popular color, which is now gone, by the way, is ice chocolate.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
it was.
I don't think I've ever seen a car in that color in person.
It was down there. Well, and there's probably
Wait.
a reason for that.
Ice chocolate, wasn't it? Wasn't that an R56 color or Paceman color?
No, there was one there.
Was it on the F56?
Yeah, I think it was available on the F56.
I know which color you're talking about. Yeah,
Ice.
it's a very dark brown. Like
Yes.
It's,
But
it's not the brown we're thinking of, I think, DB. I know.
Yeah, there
which
was
brown.
another brown that was available
Yeah.
on the F55,
That
which
was-
is
Yeah, that was the hot chocolate, or that was the
hot chocolate. Yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
hot
I didn't even know this one existed, so it's not fair.
chocolate. No, the one that Todd's talking about looks almost like a pearlescent brown.
And then
Yeah.
I'm going to say one that is going to shock everyone listening, and including the two of you. One of the worst selling current colors across the Mini line,
Chili red.
Green.
chili red.
Well, that's
That's
well,
right.
that's
it's skewed.
yeah, it's cute because like you need to get the package. That's why.
You have to buy the JCW exterior package to get it.
Or a JCW outright.
Right.
But it's more expensive. So is it more? Yeah, it's more expensive because the exterior package is what $2,500. So it's even more expensive than any of the other $1,000 color, right? Obviously.
Which,
That's-
ironically, it is one of three.
picture.
Yeah, it is one of three non-metallic colors that Mini sells.
Yes.
Okay, those three currently are pepper white, volcanic orange, and chili red.
Well, and lapis luxury blue.
Yeah.
Well,
But-
I mean, they did everything to stop having chili red cars, so it's not surprising.
No, lapis luxury is a metallic color.
It's listed in the non-metallic paint colors though on the website.
It is. Okay, so I guess that is, but it's $1,000. So
Yeah. Okay.
the no charge, and I kind of think that's why pepper white is at the top. I mean, it's a good looking color. Don't get me wrong, but it's a no charge option, and I think when you look at it from a numbers standpoint, and this is me being cynical, is that I think a lot of dealers order a bunch of pepper white cars because they're, it's neutral. Okay,
Yes.
It's like painting your walls in your house white before you sell your house. It works because it's neutral and you have neither a positive nor a negative reaction to it. And one, it's not $500 extra.
Right.
Right? It doesn't add to the price of the car. But what shocked me, and I guess, like we said, was the chili red was kind of down there near the bottom with a very low take rate. And that's because there's not a lot of JCWs are sold, and you have to pay for that color either in the exterior pack or for the JCW. So I get it. I get it.
So what is before if you remove chili red, what comes next?
Chili red at the bottom was with the brown and the what did I say? Ice chocolate.
Yeah, the ice chocolate.
That was down there near the bottom. One that was shocking, a very popular color. Now the rest of them are out of order in my head, but they were very popular. Was the gray, the Thunder Gray? That's the GP2 color.
Right.
That is a very popular color. As is the Clubman. Get this, the most popular Clubman color right now? Digital blue.
Really?
What?
Yes. Go figure, right?
Whoa.
Go figure. That's the
What color that is? We're gonna go look that one up right now.
most popular, and it's right up there within like 1 or 2% of the burgundy color, I think, on the Clubman. So I'm gonna get the specifics of this and try and break it down because I think it's interesting and fascinating. I mean,
I'm looking at that digital blue. That digital blue is a blue version of Grandpa Gold.
it is the AARP of Mini colors right now. I'm sorry.
You know what it is because there's no Grandpa Gold in the lineup.
No,
right?
there's
no sparkling silver
Right.
or gold, regular gold. So they needed a Grandpa color, and that is it.
They needed the color that you would normally put on a Camry. And I'm sorry, that's my opinion.
If
but-
you're building a Clubman, it's got to be burgundy with a white top. Come
or
on.
melting silver. I think it's a good look with the that.
Silver's good too. That's what color the company car is. Gabe's current car.
Yeah. So, anyway, I thought that was an interesting tidbit of information, and I will get some more details But I do think pepper white is the winner on the most popular color. That's not going anywhere. I don't think chili red's going anywhere because it is the iconic Mini color.
Yes.
Even though it's low sales, but there's a reason for that. And I'm still dumbfounded why more people don't buy JCWs.
Right. Or why they don't get, like, for example, you could build yourself a Cooper hardtop and add the JCW exterior pack on the Cooper. It's $3,250. But, man, you get wheels, you get the paint.
Yeah.
You get the body kit and whatever else you get with that particular package. I'll have to tell you. I have to look it up. You can get the spoiler. You get 17-inch wheels, the aero kit, spoiler, performance control, and you get the white turn signals, right? Which is just freaking awesome. It looks amazing.
I think it's a pretty good value for that, for the looks of the car, the exterior pack, by the way.
Yeah, that's $3,250 to the price of a Cooper. Not too bad.
So,
$2,500 on the price of a Cooper S.
There it is. I just thought that was an interesting tidbit of information that I was privy to very recently.
Very nice.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Very cool. Moving on, we are going to start by looking at sales.
Yes.
Because that's lately what we do. So worldwide Mini sales.
Because we haven't had a show in September to talk about August sales yet.
Right.
Is that right?
That's correct.
Correct.
About August sales. So worldwide Mini sales for August, worldwide, now this is the global sales number, are up 10%.
Yeah.
Which is pretty amazing.
Okay. And that's pretty good because Mini sales are up globally, everywhere in the world for the entire year. They're doing very well for 2016. With the exception...
But if you really quick, because we're doing global, if you combine BMW and Mini sales in Europe, they were up, just in Europe, 6.3%.
Yeah.
That's BMW Mini combined, that's pretty strong.
And we're going to get to the BMW numbers here in a minute because that plays into a story that we're doing. But as far as August goes, Mini sales were still down for the year. The brand was down 14%.
You mean global?
No, this is the U.S. numbers. I'm sorry, the Mini
U.S. numbers are
the U.S. numbers for 2016 through August are down 14%.
Right.
Okay. Now,
but just for the month of August, only down 2.7.
Exactly. It was much better.
Yeah.
But here is the one statistic that I don't think anybody really made of this, and I did my Rain Man math on it. Of all the cars, all the Minis that were reported sold in August, okay? This is all the numbers that are on their books. A whopping 74.1% of total Mini sales in August in the U.S. had 4 doors. Just going to let that sink in for a minute.
71%.
74.1%.
Almost
3 quarters.
Yeah, it's like 3 cars out of 4, right?
That's right. That's 3 out of 4 cars sold in the U.S. in August in Minis had 4 doors, which means they were 4
people
doors.
have been wanting bigger Minis forever, and they got them now. So
and that's the thing is that statistic made me think of all of the fans who are saying, "Oh, I want a smaller car. I want a smaller car. I want a smaller car." No, you don't, because you're buying the bigger ones. So shut up already.
So for August, there was 840 4-doors, 1533 Clubman. Wow, the Clubman is selling like gangbusters.
Yeah,
But look at the Countryman. The Countryman's still at 1312.
Mm-hmm. They're still making some really good deals on that.
The Countryman. Well, because you get a smoking deal. But I mean, that's more than 3,000 of the cars for the entire month.
And I just want to say the saddest number of August sales was the Hardtop, the flagship, the previous flagship of our brand.
Yeah.
Sold a whopping 769.
Down 51.8% to last year. Wow. But last year, keep in mind, there was no Clubman.
Yeah, that's true there. That made up for a little bit. But I'm just going to focus on this number. The 769 hardtops total sold in the U.S. last month, reported. And there are, about 120 dealers?
Yes.
Right? So let's do quick math, 769 divided by 120. That can't be right.
That can't be right.
Yeah, it is right. 769. Let's just say 110 dealers. I don't know the exact number off the top of my head.
Less than 100 cars.
That's 7 cars per dealer. That's 7 hardtops per dealer in the U.S. Average.
Yeah.
Hardtops.
Yeah.
That's pretty bad.
The car that we all love and the car that we fell in love with 14 years ago now is selling an average of 7 units per dealer per month in the USA. I'm going to let that sink in for now and just go.
It was double that.
Yeah, it was 15, almost 1,600 a year ago.
Yep.
What the F?
The Clubman, dude. The Clubman. It's all the hipster malarkey about the Clubman. People are falling in love with that car in droves.
I'm speechless. I love the Clubman, don't get me wrong, and we know Gabe loves the Clubman.
Look at how many Clubmen have sold year to date. They've sold 7,000 of those cars year to date.
Yeah.
9,000 Countrymen. So almost as many Clubmen as they have sold Countrymen, and more Clubmen sold this last month than they sold Countrymen.
Well, but look at the numbers for last year in the same
only been on sale for how long?
In the same period last year, DB. So just for comparison's sake, January through August 2015,
right. Yeah.
total hardtop sales were 14,300. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct.
And then look, it's less than half of that this year.
Half.
Or it's just right at half. Right at just a little more than half.
45% off.
Yeah.
Still.
Right.
That's so weird. What do you people? And everybody is complaining. Oh, minis are too big. No, they're not. Obviously, like Todd said, you guys are smoking crack.
I'm speechless. I am
absolutely. But you know, it's really
speechless.
surprising because, like, here in California, I mean, I don't know, here in California, you know, it's just San Francisco. Like, in the city, like, I see mostly like the 3-door. I don't see much of the 4-door nor the Clubman. So it's I don't know who's buying those Clubmans, but not in San Francisco. I can tell you that.
I'm not seeing a lot of Clubmen in Arizona. I do see a fair number of 4-doors, and anymore you can't swing a dead cat with a hand of Countryman. I swear to God, there's one on every corner.
Well, I don't know. Look at the number of convertibles sold. Now, granted, it's the summer months, and pretty much everywhere in the U.S. it's convertible weather. Right. 509 convertibles were sold. In August.
Yeah, but it's the launch of a new car. Like you can't like that's not like a good trend, right? Like you can't really assess it. Got a question for you, Todd. Though, of the 74%, like how much does the Countryman make versus the Clubman?
Like profit-wise, you mean?
Yeah, percentage-wise, like
It's less than the Clubman because
so the Clubman is the most selling 4-door. That's what you guys are saying.
Yeah, 1,500.
Yeah.
Versus 1,300 Countrymen in the month.
Yeah, that's pretty good for a car that just launched, really. I mean, granted, like I'm trying to remember what happened for the launch of the F56. Obviously, it's kind of a little bit different because it's the launch of a new generation, right? So you have to have like a marketing push behind it. For the 4-door Mini, not so much. Like I don't remember really seeing a campaign about it. But for the Clubman, like they went all in on the Clubman, like definitely all in on the Clubman. So
well, they did, and if we remember back to at least the U.S., the launch of the F56 happened in March, and we had the 2014 model year, which was out for March, April, May, and June, and that was pretty much it. It was about a 4-month of U.S. sales, and then remember immediately there was a stop sale on all F56 cars, basically from July through October. Mm-hmm. Okay, so we can't even look at 2014 numbers for sales there and make anything of it because they kind of didn't exist for July, August, September, October for like 4 months. A whole third of the year there were no sales of those, and I don't think that pent-up demand really made up for that, and we're still recovering now 2 years later. So, and answer that was an answer to your question, Alex, about how did the F56 launch do? It's so skewed in the U.S. We really don't know because then what do you start doing? Say October to October? Well, nobody's keeping track of those numbers. We'd have to go back and figure it up ourselves. It wasn't bad, but this is the drop off. I think is amazing.
Well, did you look at the CPO number, Todd?
Yeah, the CPO
cars are almost CPO. This isn't like all used Mini pre-owned sales. Just the CPO cars, they sold 1,200, almost 1,300 of them in August.
Yeah, and that's CPO, by the way, is certified pre-owned, and that is a car that is certified, and they basically take the warranty out to 6 years, 100,000 miles on a car, and you pay a little bit more for it, but it's worthwhile. So that's pretty amazing. They set a record.
Yeah,
and so
and it was an increase of almost 12% from the year prior.
I know, and there are people way smarter than me with probably answers to this of why that's happening. And I mentioned recently one of the reasons it's happening is because the new cars prices, they're pretty expensive to begin with, but a lot of dealers are cutting so many deals right now. I don't know. It's driving the prices down.
I think the bottom's dropping out of the Mini Cooper market. Because you remember, we've talked about this before, how our first cars, they had the resale value they held the resale value insane, right? I had 120,000 miles on my first on Roxy and was still had a Kelley Blue Book value of like 14 grand or something, right?
Yep. And then we had a brand new F56 Cooper loaded with everything that we were basically upside down in the car. And we'd put money down on this thing. We were upside down on it in 19 months still. Right.
Exactly.
At 19 months, it had never, reached that.
I mean, those CPO cars are going off at, what, 25% less than new? If not less, bigger discount than that.
I don't know. My mind is blown, and I'm sure there's probably some better math. And if you're listening to the show and have an idea, send us a response to the feedback at White Roof Radio, what you think is causing this. And I think the whole thing, and then we can kind of move on down the line with it, is the scary number is that 74.1% of all Minis sold in the U.S. in August had 4 doors.
Yeah,
okay? That's a scary number because traditionally this car has been about handling. And DB, like you said, back in the day, it was always on the top 10 best handling cars out there.
Yeah.
And now it's on a couple of them. But nobody talks about the Mini. If you want the most fun car out there, you go buy the Mini. And in fact, the brand marketing isn't even about that anymore. They're not about the fun factor of it, even though that's still, I think, the number one reason people buy the Mini is because they're most fun to drive, which I say they still are. I don't know. I've become speechless about these numbers, and I'm just shaking my head and thinking we're going to end up like BMW. By the way, BMW is now going to finally add an X2 SUV. So they're going to have.
Oh my God!
They're going to have.
Stopping on this.
They're going to have an X1, an X2, an X3, an X4, an X5, and an X6. They're going to have
an X7. They're actually working on the X7.
Are they working on an X7?
Yeah, they are. It's an X7.
So they could potentially have 7 different SUV type crossover / whatever the heck you want to call these vehicles.
Why do they need an X2 to come in at a price between $50,000 and $39,000? So $35,000 SUV?
It's going to be $500 more than the X1 and
I don't get it.
$500 less than the X3.
Is there? I mean, imagine is there a market for a 7 Series X car?
I don't know, but I'll tell you this: there's a market for a 7 Series in Europe, with no kidding, I kid you not, with the B48 Mini engine in it.
Wow.
There is a 7 Series in Europe that has the same engine as the Mini Cooper S.
It's got the little bitty baby Mini engine in it.
And it's not a hybrid either.
Why would you? No. Stop it, people.
I just want to say it blows my mind as to what BMW is thinking. That being said,
people are buying them. Maybe they don't want to spend $100,000 on a 7 Series.
Let's segue over to a story that showed up in German newspapers this past Monday. And that was, let me go find it here. I have too many tabs open, guys.
ER Strategy?
Yeah, this article from a German newspaper this past Monday talked about how there was a lot of information about the ER Strategy, which we'll get to, but the piece of information I want to pull out of this is that BMW has had 25 straight quarters that returned an 8% or above profitability. That's 25 straight quarters, right? So we're talking 6.25 years of profitability in quarters above 8%. Okay, that's insane.
That's insane.
Okay,
I mean that's good for BMW, but that's insane.
Especially considering what the economy's been, for the last 6.5 years.
Global economy at that.
Yeah. So look at it from that aspect and go, all right, whatever BMW's doing is working. If we believe these numbers, which I do, there's no reason that these are fudge numbers. They're not like
only Volkswagen. Oh.
Yeah. But so anyway, we've got that piece of information that BMW has been very successful about this, and now they're adding, an X2 SUV to the line, and we're on the heels of any day now we're going to have information on the new Countryman.
Right.
It's going to be released at the Paris Auto Show, which is the last week of September. We should see it just before that online. We should have that information available, which means in the next week to 10 days.
Right.
I know we've said that before. Gabe said that before, but I really believe now is the time it's going to drop. All right. So let's look at this from the aspect of BMW, that they're a company trying to make profit, right? Mm-hmm. And they go, look at this. They know 74.1% of the cars sold in the U.S. I'm curious what that number is worldwide. Somebody do the math and tell me if you think the whole world is selling 74% of four-door minis.
No, I think it's I think it's China, and I think it's China.
They're buying. You think they're buying the hardtops?
I think they're buying the hardtops.
Yeah. Well, a lot of the smaller countries, especially European countries, Japan, places like that, I think are still buying the two-door.
Yeah, well, the places where they're pushed for space.
But traditionally, the U.S. has been one of the number one markets for both of these brands. Really going to say it was one brand under the whole thing, BMW Mini. And they're kind of heading that direction. Now, to put that in another twist, coming up at the Paris Auto Show here in a week and a half, it was reported, Alex sent us the Reuters article, which we all read. The board of directors for BMW will not be attending the Paris Auto Show. That doesn't mean BMW is not going to be there. BMW will be there, but the board of directors usually shows up, and a couple of people from board of directors usually talk and do a keynote, and they do a little, song and dance or whatever. That's not going to happen. No, none of them are going to show up.
Nope.
At the Paris.
He's going to be at the show, but none of the board members will be there.
Yeah, the whole board of directors, because they're going to be back in Munich, arguing on whether to, which direction to go with the electric cars, right? Because BMW is a company, they want to keep this profitability, and they see a company like Tesla, who, in my opinion, and Alex, I think you agree with me, Tesla has completely disrupted the auto industry, and they've just begun the disruption of the auto industry.
So I see what you mean, but I would I think like we should refrain, because people in the press like using that word too much, to use the word disruption, because disruption is through the low end, right? And Tesla is not disrupting anything. It's innovating, but it's not disrupting by the low end, right? Like, for instance,
right.
It did, even the iPhone didn't. Like the iPhone, like you could say the iPhone disrupted like computing, like mobile computing, right? But not like the phone market, in the sense that like the phone market was what, like a Nokia handheld device, $100, and you get a phone. Like you have to shell out like $1,000 to get an iPhone, right?
Yeah, and it didn't. It didn't disrupt it, but recreated it.
With the Model 3 though. You could argue that again, like they're not gonna disrupt the auto industry by the low end, meaning like selling like a cheap car, but they're gonna be selling a car that is, at the average of what American buyers are spending, right? They're spending on average like $33,000, I think, for a new car. So it's right there at that like price point. But it's going to disrupt like the car buying experience, because people were not even thinking about being possible to have, first of all, like a nice looking electric car, an electric car that has a range that goes beyond range anxiety, and an electric car that has those two attributes and is also affordable, right? And so because of all those reasons, you could say in some ways it's disrupting, but not in the true sense of the term, if you will.
Yeah, and it's revolutionizing, and I think
exactly, yeah, that's what it is.
The biggest disruption is going to be because they're selling a product that, it's still a car, it doesn't run on gas anymore. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And I think that's what I mean by when I use the term disruption, is that companies like BMW, Volkswagen, many other companies are going, wait a minute. There's clearly a demand for this. And for valid reasons. There's a lot of valid reasons there's demand for this. Gas, well, it's relatively cheap right now. I mean, we're all paying somewhere between $2 and $3 a gallon. right? Wherever you are, Alex, you may be paying a little bit more.
Paying
Yeah, it's in that range. Yeah.
Yeah.
$3 I'm paying here in Arizona.
So people are looking for ways that are, one, a little more environmental friendly, which I don't care what you say, that even with battery technology the way it is now, electric cars are more environmentally friendly. So there's a demand for that, and there's a demand for a premium product, of which Tesla has proven itself to be. Okay, the Model 3 is an unknown. We really don't know, but we think it's going to be a little more high-end than your average Ford Escort / Focus. Now, whatever it is, right? So, enter BMW going, okay, we've got a premium product. The i3, yeah, it was kind of start and stop. They kind of dipped their toe in the water of electric cars. And the i8, both of these cars I can't call practical on any stretch because, one, the i8 was over $100,000. It doesn't compete on Tesla's plane at all because it's more kind of a supercar, partly because of the looks, right? I like the looks of the i8. I think it's cool, but you look kind of douchey driving up to Target and, buying a gallon of milk and some cat litter, right, in your i8. I just have to say that. Isn't it kind of douchey?
Yeah, what's really funny is I was recently at one of our local BMW dealers here, and they had 2 of them on the used lot.
Well, and here's the thing about the i8s, and I will say this. They've been quite problematic for the company. I know a couple of dealers who have bought back. I know of 3 cars they had to buy back because they had problems that they just couldn't fix. So
right.
They're dipping the toe in the water of this, and I think the i8's impractical. I think the i3 was impractical. One, because the range was ridiculous, especially in the cold weather, like let's say in Kansas City in the wintertime, when your range dropped from like 70 miles to like 50. We got what Alex was talking about, range anxiety. And you're going, this is not practical for me to only be able to go 50 miles on this car. One, it's wintertime. I have to turn on the heat. This doesn't make any sense. Well, Tesla's overcome that. They don't have that issue with their Model S.
Right.
And they're not going to have that issue with the Model 3 either.
The nice thing with the Model S is they almost have regular petrol range out of an electric car.
They really do. With over 200 miles to on a charge.
Yeah.
I mean, I get between 200 and 300 miles on a full tank of fuel in my car, and I fill up twice a month.
Yeah. So if you look at what would be interesting to see is like if you look at the 2 strategies that have been employed by both Tesla and BMW, right, in regards to EVs. Okay. So if you look at the history of Tesla, they started with the Roadster, right? And the Roadster was a very expensive car. I think it was $110,000, something like this.
The one that was based on the
Lotus Elise, yeah.
Yeah, the Lotus Elise.
Yeah. The range wasn't great, and also it wasn't like it was like not a Tesla chassis, right? It was a chassis from Lotus.
Right.
But they got buy-in from. They got buying like from like the early adopters, people that have a lot of money, and that's how they're starting like financing the brand in some ways, right? Because they gain loyalty through people that have like a good like purchasing power. And then what they came out with is the Model S. I think it was the 70. It started with the 70D or maybe the 90D. Anyway, it was between $70,000 and $90,000. So you're below the $100,000 threshold, and now you have a car that is like 4-seater, actually even 5-seater, that has a range that goes between 200 and 300 miles.
Yep.
And it's like entirely built by Tesla.
Well, not to mention it does 0 to 60 in like less than 5 seconds.
Yeah. It's a sports car. It's everything you want really of a sedan. So much so that it's actually outselling 7 Series and Model S's, right?
Right.
And then with all that money they got, they were able to finance, the development of the Model X, obviously, which is great because it's right in that like people want SUVs, right? So they're getting people what they want. And again, like a very expensive model that fuels the R&D for the ultimate goal, which was like building a Model 3. And I think it was 5 or 4 years. I forgot when it was. I think maybe 10 years ago. I forgot how many years ago it was. But Tesla actually detailed like this very, very, very clearly in master plan phase 1. Like it's still on the website. Like if you go on the Tesla blog, you can read the plan, and it's exactly what they did, right? And now they just released like the master plan version 2. Anyways, and on the other side, what you have is BMW that built 2 cars out of their really like their and placed a big bet really on manufacturing with carbon fiber. One that is at the very high end, which is again like almost like the Lotus Elise, right? In some ways, but a way more refined car, and also a bit more expensive though. And the i3, which is quirky, like the Prius, you could say, is quirky, right? So it still looks weird for an EV, which Tesla has managed to create beautiful cars, beautiful EV cars, and that really doesn't go really far, and it's expensive for what it does, right?
Right. It's 40,000 plus.
And none of those two are actually. When I'm thinking of it, I'm like, should they have started with the i8 and then go down the range like Tesla is doing right now? Maybe it would have been a better outcome for them. And also, when you're right when you say they dip their toe into like the EV space, they should have gone all in, because the carbon fiber manufacturing, I think it's genius. I think it's great. Like it's super robust. It's really difficult to manufacture. You've gained like an amazing expertise. Like, why don't you add to this with like expertise in battery? And again, on battery, like Tesla is making, I don't know, I haven't seen I didn't went through all the patents and stuff, but I don't know if you guys remember, it was this news like 2 years ago when Tesla made like electric, those batteries patents that they have like public to everybody to look at and to see and to actually use. So it's funny that, like the Tesla has used a strategy that is very similar to what Apple has been doing, like historically, starting at the very high end and then, going, making those features like available into more and more products. Tesla is doing the same. Like BMW did something like in between, and unfortunately it's failing. So it's going to be interesting to see how they're going to come back from this.
So now, bringing it all back around to BMW and Mini, which is what this is about here. This article basically is something. It was the first public, piece of information that said BMW is really targeting an electric Mini, and they want to have an electric Mini. Like right now, they're pushing to have a fully electric Mini Cooper on the market by 2019. Okay, right. That's 2 years from now. That's basically, we're here at the end of 2016.
And it still won't have CarPlay.
Yeah. I'm gonna get to this after you're done, Todd.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So anyway, that's how, bringing it back to Mini here, is that we're talking about an electric Mini within the next 2 to 3 years. Okay, and part of that is because yes, BMW says there's definitely a market for this, at least especially U.S. and worldwide market, because Tesla's very popular. They got a lot of sales worldwide, pre-sales for the Model 3 also. So they're looking at it going, okay, there is a market here. We need to tap into this. 400,000 pre-orders for a Model 3. Oh my gosh, we need a piece of that action. Okay, so all the board of directors are getting together in a couple of weeks, and they're going to talk about this. And right now, from what we're hearing, is that the electric Mini, I think, is a go. The inside information that we've heard is that yes, it's just a matter of detailing how do we do this, how do we make it happen, because it's going to have to be they can't take the existing car and just make it an electric car. They tried that with the Mini E project, and it was, while it was mildly successful, the people who used it, had really good luck with it. It was $1,000 a month lease, wasn't it? I mean, it was ridiculous for what it was.
It was really expensive.
There was no back seat. The car was heavy. It was full of batteries. It was ridiculous. So they have to kind of rethink this. They have to engineer this from the ground up. They can't use the existing platform of the i3 or the i8. They can't be adapted to something like that. So they kind of have to start over again. So that's what brings us back to Mini. I think this is what was amazing. The other piece of information in the article, other than an electric Mini being on, just they're about ready to pull the trigger on it, is that this article also reported that BMW is going to shake up its leadership by installing a new chief financial officer, of which it's not really a shake-up. One guy's retiring. They're putting somebody new in. But here is, and I quote this from the article, merging the marketing and sales divisions for Mini and BMW in order to better compete with Tesla, Daimler, Chrysler, and VW.
Right.
Okay, now hear those words I said. BMW wants to merge its marketing and sales divisions for the Mini and BMW in order to better compete. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
I love saying that this show, but I'm going to let that sink in just a little bit more and go.
How's your favorite thing to say this show?
It is. And let the wheels start to turn in your mind and go, now all this premium talk that we've had since the beginning of the year with the clubmen, they're like, oh, Minis are now premium. They're not funny. Like
hipster malarkey.
It's starting to make sense, isn't it? Like Minis are becoming BMWs.
Yep.
Like now it's going to be full on when the marketing and sales like merge up, and then now Mini is just sold next to a 3 Series in a deal. I don't know if it's going to get to that point. I think it's still going to be, separate to the point where there'll be a Mini dealer and a BMW dealer. But logistically, from a business standpoint, it's already the same company, right?
Yeah, it's going to be like a Chevrolet and General Motors.
Yeah. Whereas, you could go buy something that is one brand car and then,
Yeah, except, well, I mean, not really, because BMW, I don't think BMW will ever sell like a hatchback hardtop sized vehicle.
Yeah, no, it's not going to get to that point. But what I'm saying is like
the X1, the upcoming X2 will probably be based on the Countryman as well, you would think, right? So, and then the interior bits that you see, like if you're sitting in an F56 and you're sitting in a 3 Series, it's like going, oh,
well,
wow.
They're already sharing engines so far across. If you do just do a Google search for the B48 engine and look at how many cars that engine is used in, it's going to be shocking to you around the world that BMW and Mini share it in so many different cars that are produced. And it only starts to make sense. Okay, BMW doesn't want that quirky moniker anymore. They need to, because they're going to try and sell Minis as BMWs, it's got to be a little more sophisticated. I don't agree with it, but it's starting to, like, the pieces are starting to fall into place. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, thoughts?
Well, yeah, go ahead, GB. Go ahead.
Just to go back on what Todd said, how many cars actually use that B48 engine? Currently, it's used in the Mini Cooper S, the JCW Mini Cooper, the BMW 320i, 220i Grand Tour, 220i Active Tour, 225i, the X1 28i, the 330ei, the 330i, and the 730i Li.
That's the one I was talking about. It was using the B48 engine in Europe.
Yeah, but that one in Europe, with European specs, putting out 250 horsepower.
And here's the other thing, DB. Look at that list you're looking at, and look at the horsepower. The maximum horsepower of any of those cars is what, 256?
254, and that's in that 7 Series.
254 horsepower out of the same engine, Alex, that you and I have in our cars that's rated at 228.
Right.
Yeah.
Somebody explain that. Explain that shit to me right now.
Right. So the X128 has basically has the JCW motor, same
specs, everything.
Same specs.
228. Yep.
Right. And also in the 225i Active Tour.
Right. Same specs. Same engine.
It's lower than the Mini Cooper S and the BMW 320i.
Yeah, they detune it for the 320 and they detune it for the 330e or the 320e or whatever it is. Whatever.
Yeah, just so weird. The 330e. Yeah, it's detuned. It's just a skosh, not a lot, but it is detuned.
Yeah, and I looked at that in the BMW. Here's the other funny thing: in the 3 Series BMW, it's the same engine, but it's in the Mini. It's mounted transversely.
Yeah.
Okay, which has been a signature of Mini and many other small cars since the 50s.
It's also because it's front-wheel drive, and they need to do it that way for transmission and blah, blah, blah.
And the 3 Series, it's in line to the drivetrain.
Because it's rear-wheel drive, so they can.
Yeah, they move at 90 degrees. So it's kind of weird. I was looking at one today, and I go, I know this is the exact same B48 engine, but it looks completely different. Unlike in the X1, it's also it's mounted, like you open up the hood of an X1, and it looks exactly like my car. It looks exactly like a new Clubman. It's identical. Yeah, it just got a BMW cover on it, and everything else about the car is identical.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, it is kind of crazy. But anyway, so there's your bombshell for the week. Is like, are we really all going to be just driving BMWs in a few years?
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean,
I think we are.
We had to have seen this coming. Alex, reach out really.
Yeah,
but we had to have seen this coming. I mean, with the F56, especially with the, you look at the interior of the F56 versus like a BMW, any of them, 3 Series, we'll say, it's just like, going, wow, they look a lot alike now. And it makes sense for BMW to use a lot of the same techniques and parts across the range.
Oh, it does. There's definitely a business argument for it, and it's not a bad idea. But I just wonder right now, is it that Mini has stayed too long its welcome on its flagship two-door car when they probably should have been making bigger cars years ago and, really focusing on the SUVs and crossover type vehicles, considering how well the Clubman is selling and still how well the Countryman is selling? Do you think, like, economically, they stayed their welcome a little too long in the two-door sporty hatchback version? Now, don't get me wrong, I don't think that's ever going to go away. I think we'll all still be able to buy our little, hardtop coupe.
Yeah, the hardtop.
What we used to call the coupe, but then we had to stop calling it that because they had a real coupe.
Right.
But anyway, I don't know the answer to that right now.
Yeah, I don't either. I don't know. I can't tell you.
So the one last thing I would like to add is in regards to kind of continuing, like finishing the comparison between Tesla and BMW, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so, the way this article comes about is really like, Tesla is crushing it. Like now we realize we really have to do something. And also like we kind of failed with the i3 and i8 initiative, right? First of all, like, again, like, we're always making those comments, like, very cautiously because we don't obviously know all the information and it's just, stuff that is being brought back from journalists. But it's, to me, September 2016, it's worrying if you're thinking about this just now. That's my first comment. And the second one is the master plan, like part one from Tesla, was actually 10 years ago, right? So I looked it up while you guys were talking. The master plan part is for the next 10 years. So that's bringing it into 2026.
Yeah.
Right. And they're talking about like releasing like a full-on Tesla, like, electric car like in 2019. That's late, especially when master plan part 2, it's some crazy stuff in regards to self-driving cars, sharing, all of that stuff, and also like a pickup and a minibus, and like, I mean, this is almost like unrealistic when you read it, but it is very scary because right now it seems that a company like BMW is focusing on stuff that Tesla started like 10 years ago.
It does,
which is why we always said, like, and again, like, even if they release like a Tesla like car, it's not about just like the drivetrain. It's also everything about it, like the infotainment system, the update mechanism, like the selling experience. It's a lot of things. It's not just the car. So
I think if they came out with an electric Mini, I think it would sell very well. Because I think it would target a whole different group of people. And if it wasn't priced at $50,000, because you have to compete with the Model 3, which is going to be in the 30s,
Well, don't forget too, you also have to compete with the Nissan Leaf.
Yeah, well, maybe.
At least at that size, right?
Yeah.
And Nissan Leaf can be had for less than $40,000.
Yeah.
And it's full electric.
It's just
the Chevy Bolt also. The Chevy Bolt, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
If you want a car that catches on fire, sure.
Well,
they get a good name. I have to say, right? Chevy Bolt.
And drive a Chevy Volt, and all of your electronics at one point are almost guaranteed to catch on fire.
Well, and if you drive a Chevy Volt, if you drive a Chevy electric car, and carry around a Samsung Galaxy 7, you're pretty much, your insurance is going to cancel you instantly.
You're in for a treat. It's like 4th of July all over again.
Oh my gosh, on that bombshell.
Yes. Oh my gosh, that's really funny. Oh, anyway, so that's what we think about that.
Yeah, more to come. I wish Gabe were here. This would have been a 3-hour show if Gabe were here.
Yeah, we're gonna have Gabe on soon. He's Gabe's a busy guy, but we'll have him on really soon, so he can give us some more lowdown on the electric Mini and stuff like that.
Well, we'll have him on soon because I think we're gonna have specs and pictures. We've been seeing more spy shots of the Countryman coming out recently. A bunch came out this past week, and they're starting to lose a little bit more of the cladding, the weird swirly graphics. Mm-hmm. And from what I can tell, it's gonna look a lot more like the previous Countryman than the F56 looked like any of the previous generations of Minis.
That should make the nerds happy.
I think it should. I think it's gonna, now that I see that it's not gonna be so dramatically different, it's gonna be bigger.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's clearly with sales the way they're going. It's not a bad thing.
No, because people are going to be, oh my God, this is perfect. This is exactly what I wanted. Mini Cooper the size of a Honda CRV.
So we're hoping
It's not gonna be that big, but
we're hoping that Mini gets, it's going to be catching lightning. I think at the right time. The Countryman's going to come out right about the right time, as long as gas prices stay down. And I think they're going to. Analysts are saying gas prices are going to stay down for the next year. That Countryman sales should be off the charts. We think Clubmans are doing well. Clubmans are just going to go insane next year.
definitely
Interesting.
Let's finish off here with one last little story bit, and this is actually pretty exciting news, especially if you follow the British GT Championship racing. For the first time, pretty much ever, and for the 2017 race season, Mini Challenge cars are going to be in the British GT Championship races.
Yeah,
that's huge.
Yeah,
it's huge, and that's a race we don't get in the United States. But man, I wish we did.
I know.
God, because that's it's the GT Championship. I mean, it's we don't get that race here.
And I'm sorry, those cars are badass. Like, I mean, Mini Challenge cars.
The F56,
awesome.
The F56 set up as a race car, dude. That just looks like something you'd see in a Ken Block video.
I have the closest thing to it I can say in the U.S.
You need to put yours a little bit lower.
Dude, it's as low as it'll go. It is not riding. It is as low as it'll go without just being riding on the springs.
All right, then put some slicks on it and give them giant wings off the back.
I could put some 17mm spacers on there to fatten those tires out, which would help a little bit. But I'm a little reluctant to do that.
I wouldn't do that on a daily driver, no. I love the look of this car, though. Man, it's just hot.
By the way, that one I haven't. Did I say? I think I sent you guys pictures of the JCW that we did for our dealer that's in the showroom now. Mm-hmm. I did with the 37. It's black and it's got red stripes on it and 37 and everything. It's got 12mm spacers on the front and 17 on the back.
Oh, nice.
And 18-inch wheels, so it's pretty fat. But it's an inch taller. It's an inch higher than mine.
Oh,
because of that.
Oh, I guess it would be, yeah.
Very cool. Anyway, enough car talk.
So before we actually switch on to something else, like it's there is one thing like I would like to plead to Gabe is please don't write like clickbait headlines. It's really annoying. Like, I think, and Gabe is just better than this. Like Motoring File is just better than this because when I read another early look at the Mini Countryman e-plug-in hybrid, it's like wow, like the plug-in hybrid, like they announced the Countryman like e-plug-in hybrid. I can look at it. And obviously, no, you can't because it's not. That's not what it is. Like, I know Gabe's Plus. It's always like worldwide, release like the Countryman E, blah blah blah. It sounds like a clickbait. I mean, I'm just saying.
Right. There's no there that it's akin to the years where Gabe wrote stories about diesels coming to the U.S.
Yeah.
And we all know what DB had to say about that.
Yep, not buying it.
What did he have? I don't remember. What did he have? What did DB have to say about it?
DB was like, "It's never going to happen. Never, ever, ever going to happen."
And I'm here. We stand recording the show on September 13th, 2016.
And we still don't have a diesel.
Do we have a diesel Mini in the United States?
We do not.
Thank you.
And we swore that a year after.
Where I stand.
Here's the thing, DB, that Gabe swore that 1 year after the Clubman was released, which we're approaching that within 3 months.
Yep.
That there would be a diesel version of it.
Nope.
Although if you've ever opened the door, the fuel door on
there is a urea tank.
There is a place for the urea tank.
Just because there's a place for the tank doesn't means nothing.
It means there's a place for the tank for the diesel in Europe. That's all it means.
All it means. All it means. And they don't need the tank in Europe.
So much fun to bash on the diesels. We love diesels, by the way. We just want one already.
I keep saying that if that is I would get a diesel Mini before I bought anything electric.
Cool.
Period. Just like that. Anything electric, nope. Give me a diesel Mini.
I don't
know. Do you
know.
have a diesel gas station around where you live, DB?
They sell diesel at every gas station around where I live.
Yeah, pretty much every. Yeah.
Okay.
It's just, everywhere except in California, you can get diesel almost everywhere.
Well, and speaking of that, and electric alternative fuel cars, if you will, I'll say this, and then we'll wrap it. There was a top news story today that talked about BMW and Volkswagen together were working on building like this supercharger type network of charging stations in the U.S., building an infrastructure. That to me is telling in the whole VW and BMW are both going after the electric car market if they're going to start building infrastructure, and if they're partnering on this. So I think that was kind of telling, and that was just in the general automotive press this past week, and I thought that was fascinating.
Interesting.
So,
very interesting.
Yes.
Yeah, we're not quite done yet. Before we go, I want to remind you guys about one of the other fine sponsors here underneath the white roof. Of course, our friends over at Craven Speed, cravenspeed.com, the brand new fancy website, right? You guys have already clicked through and checked it out. I put a link in the show notes just in case you guys missed it. Not only is that, but you can cruise over there, and if you want to find out about the crew at Craven Speed, they put up a brand new page, and it's got like a little bio of everybody. There's Kellen, there's Logan, there's Jeremy, Tristan, everybody. Everybody's here, and you can just go, oh, this is all the people that I deal with when I deal with cravenspeed.com. They're the ones that make the magic happen. Super duper awesome. Not only that, but Craven Speed's a place to go to get the cool stuff for your Mini, right? If you're rocking a first-gen R53, you're going to use a Craven pulley, right? Duh. If you have an F56, you have any Mini really, and you want a really cool way to hold your cell phone, yeah, cravenspeed.com has got you covered with the FlexPod adapter, the dipstick that doesn't break for the first and second gen Minis, all the things, including, don't forget the really cool license plate mount. Todd, maybe that's what our man Gary did. He just modified one of those Craven Speed mounts.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm curious.
So that you don't have to drill into your bumper. Really cool stuff. I want you to go over there. I want you to check it all out. Don't forget, I want you to also sign up for the newsletter. It's right there at the bottom of the homepage. It's really easy. Just give me your name, give me your email. They hardly send out any emails at all, but that way what happens is when they do put something new on the site that's really awesome and cool and awesome that you don't want to miss, you're going to get a little email notification. It's going to be out, boop, hey, look, we have this new thing on our website. Super awesome. Go over there, check them out. That's our friends over at Craven Speed, cravenspeed.com. They're serving the greater Portland area, actually the hipster Portland, Oregon, since forever, 2003. Awesome. What else do we have? Do we have anything else? We were done, right?
I think so.
I think we were.
Yep.
Yeah, I have something if you want, but we can also keep it for next week.
Something.
It's not Apple related. It's Mini related.
Give us a teaser and we'll talk about it next week.
Okay. The teaser is that I had a chance to drive the JCW F56 and the GP2 back to back last weekend along the coast near San Francisco, and it was pretty cool. Thanks to our very good friend Sean Myers from the Motor Train podcast.
Yeah, nice.
And so I have I have a good kind of review that we can do on the.
That'll be awesome
on the show.
That'll be awesome for next week, Alex, I think.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Make sure you stay tuned for that. And then also I want you guys to remember motoringstripes.com, motoringstripes.com. Todd, I'm just curious, is there any MTTS swag left?
Yes, there is still some. If you go to the site, whatever's there, it shows is available. Anything that's sold out is either gone or it shows is sold out. So yeah, you can still get some a handful of MTTS items. And the big seller, I'm just going to say this right now, if you have a Countryman, and these are great, is the bumper protection strip, the rear bumper protection strip. These are selling like hotcakes.
Yeah, you got to get one of those. It protects the top of your bumper, so when you're loading up your briefcase or groceries or whatever, usually they end up like hitting the top of the bumper there, and the paint gets scuffed and marred or scratched, right? You get one of these Motoring Stripes bumper protection strips, and boom, saves your back bumper. And they're a good-looking piece.
Yes.
And you can install it yourself. And Todd made it, so it's dope. Right?
Yes.
Right. Not only that, but full selection of stripes for your Mini, so you don't have to have the stripes, that don't fit the car and don't go all the way. Gotta hate factory stripes so bad. Not only that, but don't forget the new swag section with all the really cool, essentially motoring badges on a keychain. Super duper awesome stuff. Go over to motoringstripes.com. Check it all out. And if you are one that also wants a White Roof Radio Sunroof Delete Kit, use contact form, shoot Todd an email. He'll send you a quote. Awesome. Motoringstripes.com, because blank is boring.
Boom.
But otherwise, I think we're done.
Yes.
Yes, now we're done. Ride Bikes Radio. If you guys like bicycle stuff, ridebikesradio.com. Otherwise, we are done for the week. Thanks for sticking around. Thanks for listening. Thanks for downloading the show and telling your friends. We really think you guys are pretty damn awesome. Just saying. Just so you know. And keep sending in those photos. Don't forget, we're still always going to be looking for a Mini Cooper to feature on this week's show. As we mentioned at the beginning of the show, it's our man Gary from Iowa. It's a very nice picture of his Roadster, Cooper Roadster at that. It's super nice. That's the car you've been looking at all week. If you've got a really fancy picture of your Mini you'd like to show off to the White Roof Radio listening audience, upload it to our Facebook page, facebook.com/White Roof Radio, or reply us on Instagram or Twitter. We are White Roof Radio on either one of those. And I'm just going to pick one. It's not like it's a competition. I'm just going to go, oh, this one looks cool. I'm going to use it. And then I'm just going to start saving the others. And I'll either make a gallery of them or I'll just save them on my hard drive. And I'll just use them until we run out. But keep sending them in. I don't have that many. But we are done. This is the part of the show where I like to make that funny clicking sound. And then I say... Questions, comments, or concerns, go ahead, click back over to whiteroofradio.com. There you can leave a note in the show notes. You can also email us, feedback, whiteroofradio.com. Until next week, this is Stevie. I'm done.
Cheers.
À bientôt.